Hello there and welcome to the Liverpool versus Tottenham preview on Wednesday. That is happening after a game that we pretty much should have lost against Fulham in what was one of the worst performances I've seen Liverpool have in a long time. Having a penalty decision go our way, us not giving one away to winning a penalty. So, somehow, like, some of them get given, some of them don't get given, but we get the 1-1 against Fulham. But we didn't deserve that. We didn't deserve that at the weekend at all. We were abysmal, and we cannot carry that form into the Tottenham game because Tottenham they'll do what they do. They'll score, they'll have like a shot or two on target, score one of them or score both of them, and then they'll defend for their lives. And they're making a very good habit of doing that, and they're doing very well doing it as well. It's just not like it could be the game where we turn up and we're absolutely on fire, all pistons firing, and we're on it, or Tottenham will win. I don't see this game being a draw at all. I see one of us winning. At this moment in time, the way I'm feeling about how Liverpool performed again at the weekend and how we're struggling with injuries. We're not doing too well in that department. I'm leaning towards Tottenham possibly winning this game, and I hate saying that because this is at home for Liverpool. That's the only thing that sort of makes a difference for me is that we are playing at home. The fans will be there. I think as long as the tiers haven't changed. So the fans could, being there could make such a big difference for us. And we had a great performance last time we played at home. That's positive for me. But the last game that we just played, I mean, you're only as good as your last game, and that was awful. That was dreadful. That was like Roy Hodgson level almost. Like, it was so bad to watch. Like, I was almost close to turning it off because I thought, what the hell are we doing? Like, we were overrun by Fulham. No disrespect to Fulham, I did say in my preview to that game that they will present a very tough challenge. I didn't think they were going to present as tough a challenge as they did, and they played some really brilliant football. In my opinion, they deserved the win. They deserved to win that game. It's only bad finishing and some decisions not going their way that mean that they didn't win that game. We were fortunate to get out of there with a point and stay level on points at least with Tottenham, where it was a weekend where we could have actually gone out on top of the league by 2 points. Like, it was such a missed opportunity by Liverpool, and it wasn't even there's not really a bad first 11 that we could have chose for that game, and it wasn't a bad team at all, but it was just such an indifferent performance by pretty much everybody on the pitch. I was just left questioning, what are we going to do on Wednesday against Tottenham? Tottenham, who don't look to be slowing down. They suffered from bad injuries last season to most notably Heung-min Son and Kane, both of them, their two main attackers last season. And they did struggle with some injuries there. This year, we're struggling with injuries all over the place, to the point where we might not have what people are classing as senior centre-backs fit. Because Matip, I'm going to read a quote here from James Pearce from Jurgen Klopp's press conference, where it says, physios are working pretty much 24 hours on Joel Matip's back to try to get him fit for tomorrow's visit of Spurs. What worries me about that is how physical Tottenham are and how difficult they are to break down. And when you got someone like Harry Kane who does this whole backing up thing into a player and then they jump for a ball, he goes under, and the player who's jumped for the ball ends up, falling over Harry Kane. Harry Kane gets a free kick, but the other person, who I believe is being fouled, but the referee believes has committed a foul on Harry Kane, they always come off the worst. I think the last one that came off the worst was actually Adam Lallana against, when they were playing Brighton. And it's not an ideal one for me. If you've got someone there like Joel Matip, who's had his injury issues like Joe Gomez, then this presents a real problem. If they get him fit for the Tottenham game and something like this happens, coming together with Harry Kane or anybody else on the pitch as well, it could present a problem where Joel Matip ends up going out injured, and then we're another centre-back down. And you'd be missing your senior centre-backs of Matip, Van Dijk and Joe Gomez, leaving it to either playing Henderson there like we did in the second half against Fulham, who Henderson did a decent job with Fabinho, who looks like a centre-back, let's be honest. Yes, we bought him as a central defensive midfielder, and he's very good at that role as well. But he's exceptional as a defender, as a centre back. But it's not ideal playing these guys at centre back and then risking injuries to the likes of a Jordan Henderson, a Fabinho. I haven't heard any news, and I've done a quick search, like 5 minute search on the internet and social media about Nat Phillips. And if Nat Phillips is fit to play this game, I'd have him in there. I would play him in there alongside Fabinho. If Joel Matip is fighting to get ready and fighting to get fit for this game, maybe it's not worth the risk. I know people will say it's against Tottenham, but the last thing that we want to do is risk another player going out injured for a long time when we've got someone like Nat Phillips, who, in my opinion, is a very natural centre-back. He's the only natural centre-back we've got, 23 years old. He's not considered a senior centre-back because he hasn't played that many games for Liverpool, but he's played enough. And every single time that he's played for us, he's had a man-of-the-match performance or a man-of-the-match level performance. I would absolutely have Nat Phillips in there because I think that he could physically, out of all of our centre-back options, stand up to Harry Kane and actually maybe bully him a little bit. You know, that's really what we're looking at here. Is we're looking at, Nat Phillips coming in and partnering Fabinho, and that's a solid centre back partnership in my opinion. It could be really effective. Nat Phillips giving you that old school sort of mentality, old school sort of centre back presence, with Fabinho being a class defender, but also being able to get the ball forward. Hopefully much better than he did against Fulham anyway. Other quotes from Klopp talks about Mourinho, the world we're living in. If you're only successful until yesterday, today they go for you. If this is a comeback, I don't know, but it's been really impressive the way Tottenham have played this season. Jose has turned them into a results machine. A lot of people wrote Tottenham off very early because their first game of the season they lost to Everton 1-0, but since then they've been nothing short of exceptional, destroying Manchester United 6-1. They've been exceptional at pulling out results. Yes, they've had the odd one here or there. The loss to Everton start of the season, the 3-3 I think it was against West Brom. They've had a couple of difficult moments here or there. But other than that, Harry Kane, exceptional. Looks like a completely different player while also looking like the same player, if you know what I mean. He's still a very good striker, but providing seems to be what he is very, very, very good at this season. I think he's got like 11 assists already. He's very much on course for breaking Thierry Henry's 20 assists record that has stood for so long as well. Now, we're going to look at Naby Keita as well. 2 quotes here from Klopp from his press conference. Let's see. Nobody is in doubt about Naby's qualities, but when you are injured, you need to get a bit of luck. And he didn't have that luck. We tried to be as careful as we can with him. Naby is a maybe. Yesterday he was involved in the extended warm-up. No one else will be coming back. So aside from Naby Keita, no one else is due to be coming back. Naby hasn't been able to get any rhythm. That's the truth. That makes it difficult. Obviously with the lack of game time and fitness issues, it's tough to get rhythm in this game. Or in football games anyway. So it's really been a tough ride for Naby Keita since he turned up at Liverpool. Injury issues really keep derailing him. Whether people want to call him a flop or not, I don't know. I think that's quite a little bit unfair. But it is what it is. Hopefully, if anything, he can be an option for Liverpool. Now, I'm going to go through our 11 of what I think we can put together. I don't exactly know what we can put together, to be honest. Obviously, Klopp isn't really giving much away in terms of injuries, knocks and such like that as well, or who else might indeed be out. Now, we're playing at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, and I want to see what these apps are saying. We're going to go into the FOTMob app and see if they're giving us a predicted lineup. Obviously, if we've got first teamers like Alisson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Andy Robertson fit, Fabinho, Nat Phillips, I want that as my back line. That is absolutely what I want as my back line because I think it's pretty solid and I think that these guys will be wanting to show that Fulham game was just a one-off. I'm hoping that is what happens. Other rumours obviously will lead to Joel Matip being in the starting lineup. I'm erring on the side of caution with Matip because of his past injury issues. I don't want him to incur any further issues, so I'm going with Nat Phillips partnering Fabinho, Trent and Robertson as your fullbacks, Alisson in goal. Into the midfield. So Oxlade-Chamberlain, I don't think is due to come back by what Klopp has said. So that changes things just a little bit. It looks like most definitely it's going to be Jordan Henderson and Gini Wijnaldum, at least two of the three midfielders that we could have. Milner is obviously out with a hamstring injury. Naby Keita we still don't know about. Thiago, no idea what is going on with Thiago. Like, I think I've seen 45 minutes of Thiago this season. I don't really know what to make of that just yet. So it looks like we will end up going with Henderson, Gini Wijnaldum, and Curtis Jones. At the moment, apart from Nat Phillips in my starting lineup, it looks like the similar sort of lineup to what we've started with against Fulham. And then into the forward line, obviously, we're now going to be missing Diogo Jota for about 2 months, or 6 to 8 weeks is what it's been said, which is gutting because he's such an informed player and you can tell straight away that we missed him. You know, it's quite something that we miss him already so much, and he's only been with us since this season. You know, he's such a key player for us, such a game changer, whether he's coming on from the bench or starting. And he provides a lot of what Firmino just isn't at the moment. A lot of dynamism, a lot of aggression going forward, wanting to get forward quite a lot as well. And he's got the pace to do it as well, which is just something that Firmino doesn't have. But it most likely looks like we will go with Mane, Salah, and Firmino. If there's an outside chance of using someone else, I don't know who it would be. Shaqiri has still got some sort of injury, I think maybe a knee injury or something like that. So you'd be looking between Minamino or Divock Origi. Most likely it's going to be Firmino if we're going between those two options. No disrespect to them, but Minamino, I'm a big fan of his. I'm hoping that at some point something will turn around for him, but it's not happening for him at the moment. While it's not happening for Firmino in front of goal either, he's the most reliable source of linking up the frontward play. That's not a word, is it? It's the forward play. There we go. The forward play of Salah and Mane and connecting things from the midfield. Also depends on what sort of lineup formation we decide to go with, whether we go 4-2-3-1 or whether we certainly go with the 4-3-3. Due to the options that we currently have, and people not due to come back from injury, for me it looks like it would have to be a 4-3-3. Tottenham are going to be a hell of a team to come up against, a really difficult team. We know who the danger men are going to be. It's going to be Harry Kane, it's going to be Heung-min Son, but it could also be Steven Bergwijn as well, who is a very, very good player, agile player, quick as well. And he can be very dangerous. Lo Celso in midfield is a very difficult player to contain as well. They've got a very solid midfield base in Sissoko and Højbjerg. Is it Højbjerg? I think that's how you say his name. They've got a very good back line at the moment. Eric Dyer seems to have fully flipped 180'd, completely 180'd his career at Tottenham within half a season, and he seems to be doing very, very well alongside Alderweireld, Aurier and Reguilon, if that's how you say his name. Those two seem to be very good as well, and Lloris is obviously a class goalkeeper as well, despite what happened at the weekend for Crystal Palace, their goal. Not really his fault in my opinion, but even so, he's still a very good goalkeeper. They've still got a very good team, and they've still got options as well. They've obviously got the likes of Gareth Bale, who I don't want coming back to haunt us after 2018 Champions League final, and all that sort of stuff. They've got a lot of options, they've got a lot of depth, and they're suffering from a lot less injuries than we are at this moment in time. It's a difficult game to call. If Liverpool turn up how we can turn up in terms of getting the ball forward, moving fluidly, then yeah, we can totally win this game. We can absolutely win this game. What Tottenham will do, and it's a Jose Mourinho team as well, is they will defend for their lives. They will defend as an entire unit, and they will take their opportunities when they can. Whether that means using Bergwijn and Son as your outlets for getting the ball on the counter or something like that. And depending on who we have at the back, doesn't really matter, because we don't have Gomez and Van Dijk, so we don't have pacey centre-backs, which means we will probably have to drop off a little bit like we have been recently and not necessarily press as hard as we used to, which has been definitely a characteristic for Liverpool recently, is that we're not pressing as hard as we used to. And Tottenham will look to exploit that. They will look to be solid between the back four, and maybe if they're going with two defensive midfielders, then they will also be wanting to squeeze that midfield and make it really, really difficult to get through. Everybody else from the front line, from like Son, Bergwijn, Lo Celso, or whoever else might play there, and Harry Kane, they will be wanting to come back as well. Harry Kane will drop deep and will look to provide for the front line, and it's going to be a difficult game. It is, honest to God, going to be a really, really difficult game. Could be one of the hardest games of all that we've had so far this season, even alongside the Aston Villa massive defeat that we had as well. But also, this is at home, and there's a very real chance that Tottenham could end our undefeated streak at home. I think we're sitting on like 64 or 65 games right now, undefeated. I think we're like maybe 3 seasons or 3.5 seasons at home, undefeated. It's a hell of a record. It's one of the best in Europe, if not the best in Europe. And if anyone's going to do it at the right time for them, because of all of our injury issues and everything that's going on, and the bad game we just had against Fulham, then yeah, it looks like it's going to be a hell of a game. I'm not confident of a win, and I'll be totally honest with you about that. I'm really not confident about a win at this moment. I think that Tottenham defend very, very well. Yes, they can be put under pressure. Do we have the defensive solidity to be able to maintain putting on the amount of pressure we would need to put on to get in behind that defence? That looks very, very, very decent, well drilled. I don't know. I want to say it's going to be a draw. My heart literally says that this is going to be it, and this is going to be a defeat. And I don't want it to be a defeat. I think we are still strong enough to get a victory. But are we showing signs of burnout in these players? Are these players, are they burning the candle at both ends? Yes, they are. And is that catching up to them? Is this something that's really going to actually start to impact the players? Because let's make no mistake, when we played against Fulham, it wasn't like we came out of the blocks the first 5-10 minutes, put the pressure on, started hammering their goal. They literally controlled us for a very, very long time in the first half, if not the entire first half. Second half, we looked a little bit better. Not a great deal better, though. Not a massive deal better, and got lucky with our penalty, getting that one, and getting the 1-1. We were lucky to get out of there with a draw. We should have lost that game. And I couldn't have argued it with the performance level we put in. And we'd go anywhere near that performance that we put in against Fulham, we are in massive trouble against Tottenham, and we will lose. Anywhere near that performance like we did against Fulham, Tottenham will win. And that's a very scary thought. I'm going for a draw. I don't want it to be a draw because it could put everybody else right back up in the mixer alongside us and Tottenham for top of the table and the title race. While it's exciting for everybody, it's just anxiety inducing for me. I loved it when we were like 10, 15, 20, 25 points ahead of everybody else because it was easy. It was just like, oh, this is great. This is fantastic. It's not working out that way this season. And while we've done well to cope with injuries as well as we have, top our Champions League group and maintain being tied top, only second on goal difference with Tottenham, it's just I don't know. I want to go for a draw. I got a bad feeling it's going to be a loss, and I really don't want it to be. But I'm going for a draw. I'm going to say it's going to be 2-2 between Tottenham and Liverpool. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Not necessarily the most positive preview of all time, but it's all, I can only tell you what I'm feeling. And I'm not going to lie about it and try to say, yes, we're going to smash them and we're going to do this, that and the other. I'm not sure. I genuinely don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below about this game, ahead of this game as well. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do like it and subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you once again, and I'll catch you later.